You're looking to make the move to Boise, Idaho, but you want to know the pros and cons of what it's like to live in the Boise, Idaho area before you pull the trigger on moving here. In today's video, I'm going to go over the top pros and top cons of what it's like to move to Boise, Idaho and live in Boise, Idaho. My name's Chism. I moved from San Diego, California as a third generation San Diegan to Boise, Idaho, and I moved for a better life, better overall cost of living, more conservative values, and I absolutely love it. And I'm here to walk you through all those considerations you should make regarding the pros and the cons, and we're getting after it right now. I'm gonna start with the pros and then move on to the cons. If you wanna skip ahead to the cons, go ahead and skip down there. But people ask me all the time, what should I know about living in Boise, Idaho, especially for someone coming from California? What do I really need to know? I'm interested in it, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it or not. So let's go over the top pros and then we'll get into the cons. Number one for me is the access to outdoor activities. When I was looking to move out of California, I did look at a number of different areas to decide if I wanted to move there first. I looked at Texas, I looked at Tennessee, and I looked at Florida. Probably some of the same states that you're looking at as well. All potentially great choices depending on exactly what it is that you're looking for. I think I looked the hardest at the state of Texas and specifically the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've been there quite a few times for conferences. I have a lot of friends that have moved into the DFW area, and frankly, I've had a great time when I've gone there. However, I realized it just wasn't for me. And that was for a couple reasons. I just felt that it was kind of too much like Los Angeles in terms of the number of people that live in the greater Dallas area, kind of a concrete jungle, not a lot of access to nature and big outdoor activities. I really like getting out into the mountains. I like going to anything related with water. We love spending time on the water. Being from San Diego, growing up by the beach, going to the beach all the time, going to the bay, kayaking, maybe doing a little bit of surfing. I can't say I'm a big surfer, but definitely body surfing, boogie boarding, and also so much camping activities that I'm used to in California. I wanted to be near all of that. And that's what we have here in Boise, Idaho. Flowing right through the city and through several of the suburbs is the Boise River. Very easy access to that if you're in Boise, Eagle, and Star. And that river is so nice and cool during the summertime. It's so refreshing to jump into. There's an amazing river float that you can do. It's about a 3 or 4 hour trek down the river, just floating. It's so simple and easy to do. We do it at least once every summer, and it's super fun. You can also fish in the Boise River. You see people all the time fly fishing, lure fishing, whatever it might be in the Boise River. And there are so many other areas around here. You have the local foothills with amazing hiking. So Boise, Idaho is very flat, but you got the foothills where you can get more of your intense exercise in, get up into those foothills and the hills and the mountains. And we have absolutely incredible mountains nearby, only within an hour and a half to 2.5 hours away. Absolutely incredible mountains. I grew up going to the Sierra Nevadas and doing a lot of backpacking and hiking in the Sierra Nevadas. And I really wanted to have that when I moved to Idaho. And you have what looks like the Sierras only a couple hours away from the city. So you have incredible camping with, if you got a camper trailer, a pull behind, a fifth wheel, you can boondock. There's amazing campgrounds. We just recently went up to a campground near Stanley in the Sawtooth Mountains. There's Redfish Lake here, which is absolutely beautiful, gorgeous lake. It's often described as essentially the Swiss Alps in Idaho. I haven't been to the Alps, so I can't say for sure. It's a very clear lake surrounded by these jagged Sawtooth Mountains. Absolutely beautiful. We took our blow-up kayaks on it, but you can rent speedboats there. So you can inner tube, you can jet ski, water ski, whatever it might be. And just absolutely incredible hiking and water activities all throughout southern Idaho where we are. And of course, great access to amazing national parks, not far away at all. You've got Grand Tetons and Yellowstone, only about 5.5 to 6 hours away. The second pro is if you're looking to move here, but you want to have easy access back to the state where you're moving from, likely California, but a lot of my clients move from Oregon, Washington, Arizona, and now Texas as well. There are a lot of easy flights out of here, especially to these Western states. I can get back to San Diego to visit my family or for business in just under a 2-hour flight. So all in, you're looking at about 3.5 hours with total travel time with a direct flight. So very easy access to the airport. It's a small airport. It's not busy. You can get in and out of it very quickly, especially if you have TSA pre-check like I do, and get direct flights to many cities all around California in particular. Number 3 is just a slower pace of life. You're going to find things are just slower here. It's not that people are slow, people are just willing to move at a slower pace. This very family oriented, and with that just comes that slower pace of life, especially if you're maybe out of the city itself, out of Boise, out of Meridian. As you get more into the country, it just feels slower. You want to slow down on these country roads, but there's just less people and there's just a sense of moving at a slower pace. So if you're retired or you're just kind of tired of the rat race, and you're looking for that slower pace of life, Boise is a great option for you. Now, if you are looking to make the move to Idaho and you want to buy a home here in Idaho, I am a local real estate agent and I specialize in helping people move from other states here into Idaho. I've moved from San Diego, as I've mentioned, so I know exactly what it's like to go through the process of making the move, the emotions of it, the logistics of it, and I absolutely love helping people just like you and you and you and you and you make the move here to Idaho. All you gotta do is reach out via phone, text, or email. Contact information is on the screen or the description below. Pause the video, take a screenshot, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. We'll schedule a time to talk about you making the move here to Idaho. Number 4 is going to be, it is a conservative state. There are a lot more conservative related freedoms associated with this. In my book, that's a pro, probably in your book, but some people might see that as a con. I'm not telling you whether or not you should move here. I'm just saying that it does have conservative laws and policies. It's a much less litigious state than California. Things are easier to set up and do. It's much easier to start businesses here, for instance. The taxes on businesses are lower. Even just the franchise fees with starting business in terms of in California, if you're looking to start an LLC and S Corp, you got an $800 per year tax. Here, it's like $150 for a startup. And I don't even think there's annual fees. If it is, it's extremely low. You're just gonna find a lot of like-minded people that are more concerned with conservative issues. Frankly, I have no problem speaking with someone who doesn't agree with me. However, it is nice to be around people that do agree with you and you're on the same page on things. Number 5, it is much more affordable here. You're gonna find that the home prices here, although they have risen over the past few years and they have gone down a little bit, now coming back up, it's a lot more affordable than most likely what you're looking at in most of California, at least in the big cities. Now, if you're coming from a very rural part of California, yeah, it might be more expensive. But if you're coming from San Diego, where the median price is $1.1 million, and you're moving to Ada County, where the median price is $550,000, it's literally half of what you're going to pay. And the type of home you're going to get is going to be amazing. A $1.1 million home here in the Boise, Idaho area is going to be an extremely nice, large home versus I actually just sold a house down in San Diego and it had been remodeled recently. However, it still had a lot of work to do and it sold for 1.15. And the folks coming into it were probably gonna have to put at least $100,000 more of work for a 1960s era home. Here you're gonna get a beautiful, potentially custom built or brand new home, probably 3,000 plus square feet for that same price. Now, if you're looking for a home that's gonna be more affordable in that 500, 600,000 range, you can still get very nice homes, maybe 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, a more affordable builder, but still a beautiful new home, or a home that's been built in the last 20 years that still has some amazing features to it. You're also gonna find that utilities are far cheaper here. This is where you start seeing some of the biggest savings, especially around your electric bill, your gas bill, fuel costs, insurance costs. My average gas and electric bill average throughout the year ranges between $150 to $200 per month. My gas bill the last couple months being summertime has been $20 per month. Now my electric bill is more right closer to around $200 right now, especially with it being so hot, which I'll get into in just a minute with the cons. Home insurance is significantly cheaper. I am starting to notice a trend of it going up, but I've been paying just under $600 per year for my homeowner's insurance, and that's bundled with my car insurance. I did just get a big increase, about 50%. So it's time to start shopping around. I think it might just be because they feel like they can jack the rates. So I'm gonna shop around, but still significantly cheaper than what you're gonna find in most areas of California. Number 6, gun laws. Gun laws here are so much better than California. Idaho is a constitutional carry state. Believe in the Second Amendment. You can open carry or conceal carry without a permit. You can, of course, get an enhanced CCW permit, which gives you some extra rights around it and gives reciprocity in other states. You can pretty much own any type of firearm here, including fully automatic. I believe you need a federal tag for that. I don't own one, so I don't know specifically. However, I do own multiple types of handguns and rifles, and we can go out and shoot in all the BLM land that is around here. And of course, there's so much hunting and fishing that comes along with all of that. Many of my friends are hunters, many are fishermen, and it's a big part of the life and culture here in Idaho. Now, I get asked a lot, how many people open carry? Is it the Wild West and they're just walking around with revolvers? No, I've been here for a couple years now, and I've only seen, I believe, 4 people that have open carry. However, you're likely gonna find that many people do conceal carry, but you just don't know about it. And number 7, there are no major natural disasters that occur here. Being from California, I grew up and was used to earthquakes. Frankly, they don't really scare me because the buildings are built very well with the building codes. They're built for earthquakes, for seismic activity. So not a big deal, but at some point they could be a big deal. Obviously, we've had major earthquakes in our history in California. Not really a thing here in Idaho. There can be very small ones. Not saying there never will be an earthquake. However, about a year ago, we did have, I think, about a 3.7 earthquake in the mountains here. Didn't really cause any damage. There's no tornadoes, there's no hurricanes. Now, this is gonna lead me into the first con, and that is gonna be, even though we don't have major natural disasters here, the one that we do have is fires. Now, we don't get them in the city of Boise. However, in the mountains, they do occur. It's possible for them to occur in the foothills. There's brush there. Obviously, you gotta be careful. It can get very dry here. But oftentimes, they're occurring in the mountains here in Idaho or in Oregon or Washington, and then that smoke blows in. So that's really the issue, is the smoke. And it can linger for quite a while. And that's because the Treasure Valley is kind of like a big bowl, and it tends to trap the air in here. So air quality can suffer, especially in the summertime. In fact, right now, when I'm recording this video, there are some major fires burning about 3 hours away, both west of me and east of me. And there is a fair amount of smoke in the valley, although it's not terrible right now. However, it can get really bad. There's been times when there are outdoor activities that get canceled, sporting events, because of the heavy smoke. Then related to that is the weather. People ask you, what's the hardest thing about making the move to Idaho? For me, it was the weather. That's what held me in San Diego for so long. It's really hard to beat the weather in San Diego. Honestly, probably some of the best weather in the lower 48 for sure, and almost the world. So moving virtually anywhere, you're just not gonna have as good of weather as what you have in San Diego, or just kind of in general in California. So we do get very cold in the wintertime, and it can get very hot in the summertime. But it varies every year. Every year is different. It's very unpredictable. I've gone through a couple winters, several summers, and I've found that the winters in one case were, in my opinion, very cold, basically below freezing for about 4 months or so. And it just never really warmed up until the springtime. This last winter we just went through, it was much warmer. Many days in the 40s, even sometimes in the 50s. The snow levels are not bad here. Typically we get between 1 inch to 4 inches at a time, and it does usually tend to melt off within a couple of days at the most. There can be times where it's very cold and it snows, so the snow will take longer to melt off. We don't get that much snow. Every once in a while, we can get major snow storms that come in. This past winter, we had one where it did drop about 2 feet of snow over a weekend. The last time that happened was back, I believe, in 2017, before I was here, and it did drop a couple feet, and it was very, very cold. They called it Snowmageddon. The snow hung on for a long time. We got more snow that accumulated after that. But this last year, a couple feet, it was melted off within a few days, essentially. And it was really fun for the kids to go out and play it. And it can get very hot in the summer as well. Now, again, that's gonna vary each year. However, this summer in particular, we're in a long stretch of multiple 100 degrees in a row. We're probably gonna be coming in on a month to 2 months of basically over 100 degrees. And that happened a couple years ago, but the summer last year was much more moderate and cooler. A lot of days in the 80s and 90s, so it does vary quite a bit. The benefit here is that the heat is dry. We are high desert here in the Boise area at about 2,500 feet elevation. So the air is dry, you typically don't have much humidity, so it does make it a little bit more bearable. And with that, again, the utility bills are pretty low here. So your electricity bill to run your AC, you're not gonna be breaking the bank if you have an energy efficient home. Number 2 con is going to be the rising traffic here. There are a lot of people that have moved into the Treasure Valley. Depending on how you count it, there's somewhere around 800,000 to 900,000 people in the greater Treasure Valley area. When I say Treasure Valley, it's Boise, Meridian, Eagle Star, Middleton, Nampa, Caldwell, and Kuna, essentially. And a lot of these roads were just not built for heavy traffic. Unfortunately, I wish that they had planned better in the past for better freeway systems, maybe a beltway, but that's part of Idaho. It's just more conservative. They don't want to spend a lot of money on major projects. And with that does come more traffic with all the people moving in. And then basically these roads that were farm roads are being converted into main thoroughfares. There are some roads that are 2, 3, 4 lanes wide, like Eagle Road in particular, or Meridian Road. You're gonna find that those have multiple lanes, but you're also gonna find there's a lot of traffic on them, especially on Eagle Road. It gets particularly bad during most of the day, but especially during the morning and evening rush hour time. Now, we only have one freeway here, that's I-84, and then a little connector freeway called 184 that connects from I-84 into the downtown area. I-84 traffic can get bad, again, in the rush hour times. Generally, it's pretty clear, but if there's an accident on that freeway, there's very few ways to get off of it, so you can kind of get stuck on it. Next up is the rising cost of living here in Idaho. We're dealing with inflation nationwide, with the Federal Reserve printing money like there's no tomorrow. So clearly inflation is affecting the entire United States, and Idaho is no different. So cost of living is going up. A lot of Idahoans blame it on Californians moving in and driving the price of homes up. Certainly that's a factor, but that's been happening everywhere. Home values are going up everywhere. The median price of homes nationally is $420,000. It was not that long ago when it was much, much less expensive. Here in Idaho, median price is $550,000 in Ada County, which is Boise, Meridian, Eagle, Star. However, if you're looking for a little bit more affordability, you can go out to Canyon County, which is going to be essentially Nampa and Caldwell, and that price is about $400,000 on the average price. Now with that, the locals really do complain because the job market here is not the most amazing. Wages are not great. However, there are some big projects that have come in recently with Facebook, which is now Meta, has come in and they're building a big data center. Micron, which produces microchips, which is based here, they're building a massive new factory here. And that is providing a lot of construction jobs, especially for electricians who are being paid a very high wage. So that's going to help kind of boost the local economy for years and potentially decades, as there are other companies looking to put data centers here as well. So that's going to provide a lot of wage growth, which is going to be great for the local economy. Now, that is going to stress out the electric grid here, so that we could see some issues with our electricity down the road rising because of all the massive electricity that's going to be required for all these data centers. And then next up, it does get really windy here. Again, this is going to be related to the weather, but basically from December through June, it can get very windy. And by windy, I mean usually 25, 30 mile an hour winds, but it can gust and blow much higher, up to 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. And it can kind of come out of nowhere, seemingly. So it can be very calm, then all of a sudden, whoosh, just gets super, super windy. Things get blown all over the place. Trampolines go all over the place. If you don't have a patio cover bolted down, it's gonna fly away. In fact, the neighbor put up a gazebo and they did not bolt it down, and it blew into their sliding glass door and broke their glass door. That's a complete overview of the pros and cons of moving to Boise, Idaho. If you're looking to make the move here, all you gotta do is reach out to me via phone, text, or email. Contact information is on the screen or in the description below. I help people move here to Idaho all the time, and I absolutely love it. Please look me up on Google and check out my reviews, and you can see how many people that I help make the move here and how much they love working with me and my team to move to Boise, Idaho. So if you're looking to buy a home here and maybe you're 9 days, 90 days out, or even 2 years out, just reach out to me. We'll have a conversation and work through the timeline that works for you to make the move here to Idaho. If you are looking to explore more about Boise, Idaho, and you're looking for other videos, all you gotta do is watch this video right here where we dive in deeper about what it's like to live here, pros and cons, cost of living, everything you wanna know. Look at this video, and I'll see you on the next video.